Hi, Simon here again, and now welcome to Module 3 of LinkedIn Mastery, Profits, Prospects, Leads. And we're going to cover today how to follow up, nurture, and generate engagement from our new LinkedIn connections. So let's have a quick overview of what the purpose of this section of the process is. So if we just recap of what we've done so far, we've recreated our profile according to our formula. We've now started to locate, identify, and connect with our target prospects. And now those target prospects are starting to accept our connection invitations. So what do we do with them now? This is the strategy, this next section, module 3, of how we engage those people, get the early adopters into phone calls and meetings, and those who are not yet ready to engage, how we keep them in the process, keep them engaged, feed them value, so that eventually more of them come through the system and we get those people into conversations. So the purpose of the follow-up process is this. First of all, it's to be polite. I'll show you exactly how we do that in a moment. Now, why would we want to be polite? Well, if you think of what we've done so far, we've found some complete strangers, mostly, and we've said to them, would you like to connect? And those who have taken up our invitation, they've actually done what we've asked. So in real life, when we ask anybody to do something for us, polite people say thank you, don't they? However, it's very much the unusual occurrence that that happens on LinkedIn. How many people have you connected with who've actually come back and said to you, thank you for connecting? I would guess it's very, very few. So we're introducing a pattern interrupt here, whereby as soon as people connect with us, we say, the first thing we do is say thank you. And that makes them sit up and take notice, because very few people will have done that to them in the past. The next thing that we want to accomplish is we want to pull out those who are immediately open to our help. And again, I'll show you how we do that. That's right up front, right in the first message, because we want to identify those who are willing to engage and those who say, yeah, I'd love to have a chat. I want to find out how you can help me. That's really what we're wanting to get to as soon as possible. And then for those people who it's just not the right timing for, and there are going to be more of those, obviously, it's just the way the world works, there are going to be more people who are not ready to jump into a call just yet because they don't yet trust us, because they don't yet see a relationship, because they're just not ready, because it's not good timing, because they're busy. All of those people we need to keep in the system, because what we do know is that they are targeted and they have seen our message because they've seen our invitation and therefore our headline. So what we want to do is deliver ongoing value to keep them in the loop. And by delivering ongoing value, what we're doing is avoiding jumping into the sale, which is one of the biggest things, if not the biggest thing, that really annoys people on LinkedIn, and it just doesn't work. So rather than jumping into the sale, what do? We offer ongoing value to keep them in the loop, to keep us front of mind. That's really important. And all of this comes from the psychology that's been developed through email marketing. Why do people get their prospects onto email lists? Because it's efficient to keep messages under their noses at regular intervals. So we're employing the same approach, the same psychology on LinkedIn through the direct messaging function as the psychology of email marketing, but in a little more subtle way. And ultimately, what we're wanting to do is pull those prospects towards us rather than us doing any of the chasing. So we're flagging stuff up, we're being nice people, we're giving them value, we're opening up conversations with them, we're asking them questions, all designed to pull them towards us when the time's right for them to come to us, rather than us doing any of the chasing, which can come over as very salesy. So let's have a look at what this looks like as a flowchart. Okay. So this is how the sequence works. Day one, we make the connection. So we send out the invitation and it gets accepted. Within the first 3 days, we then send the introduction or a thank you message, and we'll have a look at exactly what this message looks like in a moment. We then pick up those people, the traffic that comes through from that, the people that take us up on our invitation. But those who don't take us up at that point, they flow on to the next point, where we send them an article. Doesn't have to be an article, doesn't have to be your article. So we're sharing content at this point to educate your targeted connections about your subject. It's mostly the reason that people don't move into a conversation at this point is either that they're not really aware of how your solution would help, or they're just not ready. So at this point, we're sending them within the next week and a half of connecting, we're sending them a piece of value. So it can be an article you've written, it can be an article somebody else has written, and there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, my belief is there's greater power in sharing other people's content than your own. So it can be a blog, it can be even a video. Somebody's, your own video content, somebody else's video content. I'm a big believer, I'm a big lover of video content, particularly on LinkedIn. The reason for that is it's been shown that 59% of executives prefer taking information in through video than through the written word. They don't have enough time to read, but they've got enough time to take in a short video because it's more engaging, it's more entertaining. So the next step in the chain, after we've introduced ourselves and said thank you and give them a polite invitation to get into a meeting, is to send them some value in the form of an article, a link to a blog, a link to a video. And again, a few days later, within the next week, another piece of value. So again, it can be an article, can be a blog, it can be a link to a video. Again, it's good to mix these things up, and slightly different themes, although it should be generally around the thing that you are interested in to keep them on point. And then once they've had that article, we then send them another message, which is the one question message. I'll show you exactly how I do this so you can mirror it. But what we're doing is we're looking for direct response from these people, but without being challenging. So we'll ask them one question, which is designed to do things. It's designed to get them to think about our subject and give them a chance to get an answer to a big question that they may have around it. But what it also does is it gives us intelligence about the marketplace and what questions they have that we can then build into our process. So into the way we formulate our messages, in the way that we create our lead magnets, in the way that we hold our meetings. so that we know what is in the mind of our market, but it gets the conversation going. That message goes out within 2 to 3 weeks of the initial connection being made. And then the final step of the sequence is to send them an invitation to help you to do some research or to give you some feedback and to complete a very short survey, which culminates in a yes, yes, no answer. That's why we call it the yes, yes, no survey. Okay. So I'm going to take you through step by step every piece of this sequence in the rest of this module. So the first thing that we need to do is to have a look at how the thank you message is constructed, what it does, and why it is important in this upfront element of the sequence to get us some early traction. So let's move into the next part of that. We'll look at the thank you and introduction message.